The truth behind extraordinary results. This is something that I heard recently. I was watching a video on Facebook by an amazing coach and author called Amir Karkuti, and he was talking about how extraordinary results are created through taking ordinary actions. So what I wanted to do in this video is spend some time breaking down what that means, because I've definitely resonated with this. You know, some of you may have heard previous episodes of mine where I've spoken about the 1% rule, and this is very much in alignment with that. So I want to break this down and really show you how, if you want to create something extraordinary, it just comes through taking ordinary action. Hello and welcome to In the Moment with me, Alex Manzi. I'm a professional coach, and this podcast is about helping you to live a happier and more fulfilling life. And on this episode, I want to break down the truth behind extraordinary results. When we look at extraordinary results, right? In my opinion, there's a perception around what these extraordinary results are. To give you an example, a friend of mine just ran a marathon, right? And he did it for a very good cause. He completed the marathon. And to me, I'm like, wow, that's incredible, because I have no will to want to run a marathon. I'm like, it's long, it's 26 miles, you got to be running for like 4 hours. It doesn't appeal to me. So it looks like an extraordinary result to me. It looks like he's done something just supernatural, right? But when we look at like, okay, what goes into creating this extraordinary result, what we see is actually it's just ordinary actions. There's nothing really supernatural about it. Taking the marathon example that my friend recently done, what goes into running a marathon, right? You train over a number of weeks. What do you do over those number of weeks? You go out and you run maybe 2-3 times a week. You eat well, you sleep, you rest, you drink plenty of water, and you probably incorporate some kind of, flexibility, stretching to, ease off the muscles on your rest days. That's it. Those things aren't anything out of the ordinary. They're not anything that I couldn't go and do in my life. And I look at the result and I'm like, oh my God, how did you achieve that? Like, how did you ever get to run and, finish a marathon? Because to me, it just seemed like a crazy result, right? But actually, when you look at what goes into it, it's just really ordinary actions that are taken on a very consistent basis that create what looks like an extraordinary result. And, I've seen this. There's coaches that I look up to and I'm like, oh my God, like, look how great their business is. They're at this point in their career and they've got all of these amazing things going on. But actually, if I was to sit on their shoulder over the course of a day for say a week, they would just be doing ordinary things. They would be speaking with people, coaching people, replying to messages, sending out resources to people. There's not really anything extraordinary that goes into it. It's just ordinary actions that are created on a consistent basis that leads to what are perceived as an extraordinary result. And this is great news. And I tell you why. Because it means that anything that we want to achieve, we can. Because if the result, the extraordinary result, is something that seems so out of reach for us, then all we have to do is break it down and look at like, okay, well, what's the ordinary actions that I can take every day? And over time, these things compound. Now, I mentioned before that I've recorded episodes on what I call the 1% rule, and it ties into this perfectly, because the 1% rule is like, what's the 1% that you can do today to get you towards the thing that you want to create, and take that action. Like, for example, right, if you wanted to start a business in anything, let's say a business in starting a clothing company, you're at day 0 right now, you got no plans, you don't even have a name, nothing. What's the next thing? What's the one action that you could take today? What's the one action? First action is you might want to look at finding a supplier for the clothes. You might want to come up with a name. You might want to find a designer to design you a logo. You might want to look into, if you were to have a website or an e-commerce site, where would you do that? You might want to set up a Depop account. There's so many actions that you can do as one action for one day to start creating the outcome of this clothing brand. Now, if you took this one action every day for the next 3 months, how far ahead do you think you're going to be in terms of creating the extraordinary result and outcome that you want? You're going to be very far ahead, a lot further ahead than you are today. Same goes for a relationship, right? People see, oh my God, like these people, they have an amazing relationship. That's created. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just fall into place. There's things that each person in that relationship are doing each day to create an extraordinary result of an extraordinary looking relationship. It might be not getting out of bed in the morning before they've given their partner a kiss and a cuddle and told them they love them. It might be leaving little notes around their house. It might be sending a cute message. It might be buying some flowers on the way home. There's a bunch of stuff which, when you look at them as individual actions, they're not out of the extraordinary. It's not like a supernatural thing that no one can do. They're very ordinary actions that anyone can do. But over time, they compound and they create something extraordinary. So when it comes to, extraordinary results that we see, take a look, work backwards. What's the ordinary actions that have gone into this? If you want to improve your health, as an example, what's the one thing that you can do today? It might be sign up for a gym. It might be hire a PT. It might be go to the gym. It might be do some stretching. It might be go out for a long walk. It might be choose a healthier option of food at lunchtime or dinner time. There's a plethora of things that you can do as an ordinary action that will work towards creating an extraordinary result. Another example might be if you wanted to create a let's have a think.
3 hours later.
This is where it's helpful to have people to have input, right? But if you wanted to create, let's say you wanted to write a book, what's the ordinary action that you can do? Spend some time writing. Write 1 page a day, 2 pages a day, 5 pages a day. Over the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you're going to have enough written material to start putting into a book. Now, when I put out my book in 2020, The Search for Clarity, it was just, okay, what's the ordinary action that I can take? What's the next step? Okay, I had a load of stuff already written. Okay, so the next step for me was, let's go through these written articles. Let's organize them. That's the next step. Let's pull out the ones that fit into the theme of the book that I want to have as the extraordinary result at the end. Okay, let's read through them. Let's re-edit them. Then it was about, okay, is there any chapters that I want to add to this? Wrote an extra couple of chapters to fill in the gaps. Then it was about, okay, how do I then get this printed? How do I design this? Every step of the way, it was just like, what's the next action I can take? And the extraordinary result is people are like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you've written a book. That's so amazing. And it is to a certain degree, don't get me wrong. It's something I'm extremely proud of. And it's going to be the first book of many. And what created it, what helped create it was the ordinary actions that went into it. The ordinary actions that anyone can do if you choose to and if you commit to doing it. And this can be said across the board for anything. This applies to anything. Break it down into the small chunks. What is the ordinary action that you can take every day? Maybe you want to take 3 ordinary actions every day. Maybe you want to do 10. Actually, so to tell a funny story, it's not really funny, but
Flashback.
I've just enrolled into a coaching school run by Ankush Jain. It's called the AJC Coaching Career School, and it's to help coaches grow their business and learn about how to become a powerful leader for yourself and your clients. In the Facebook group that we have amongst ourselves, which is where all my colleagues, shall we say, are in, there's a conversation around, okay, what are 10 actions that you can take every day? Just 10. Just focus on creating 10 actions every day towards, over the course of being in this school, over the course of the next 8 months. Now, if everyone in the school was to take 10 actions every day, which directly related to generating more income in business and having more impact in the world, right? Could be having conversations with people, helping people, sharing resources, replying to messages, coaching people, whatever, any of those 10 actions every day. How far ahead do you think every single person, there's 35 of us in the school, how far ahead do you think every single person in that school is going to be in their business in 8 months' time? It's going to be so far ahead, because taking the consistent action is the important part. Can you commit to taking the consistent action? And can you see that action doesn't need to be anything supernatural? It's just something ordinary that's going to lead to you to create the extraordinary result. And this is the real truth behind how extraordinary results are created. And it really is as simple as that. And I really hope that you take this on for yourself with whatever you want your extraordinary result to be. It could be health goals, it could be a business, it could be a relationship, it could be a bunch of things, a YouTube channel, a podcast, writing a book. It could be so many things. What is the ordinary actions that go into it? And if you really understand that the truth behind how extraordinary results are created is in taking the ordinary actions every day, you will create the thing that you want. So I want to thank you for listening to this episode. And if you liked what you heard, be sure to hit that like button, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and be sure to come and find me on Instagram and TikTok at I am Alex Manzi. And I'll look forward to seeing you for the next episode.